Hey there. Let me ask you something. Have you ever tried learning English and someone asked, "What level are you?" And you just froze for a second because you weren't sure what to say? Maybe you've seen people write things like, "I'm B2 English," or "I'm studying for C1," and you wondered, what does that even mean? Is it a grade, a test, some secret English code? Well, today I'm going to break it all down for you. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand exactly what A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, and C2 mean, but you'll also know how to figure out your own level and what you can do to move to the next one. So stick around, because understanding this system could completely change how you learn English and how confident you feel using it. We'll talk about three big things today. First, what these levels actually are and where they come from. Second, how each level looks and sounds in real life with examples. And third, how you can move up step by step from one level to the next without feeling stuck or overwhelmed. Sound good? Let's get started. Section 1. What A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2 really mean? Okay, so first things first. These letters and numbers, A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, they come from something called the CEFR. That stands for Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. It's basically a big system that helps people describe how well someone speaks, listens, reads, or writes in any language, not just English. It's used all over the world by schools, employers, and test organizations like IELTS, TOEFL, and Cambridge. Think of it like a map of your English journey. A1 is the very beginning, like you've just started walking down the path. C2 is the top of the mountain. That's where you sound almost like a native speaker. Let's imagine it like this. A1 and A2 are your survival English stages. You can say simple things, ask for directions, introduce yourself, but it's still basic. B1 and B2 are your independent English stages. You can have real conversations, understand movies, and express opinions. C1 and C2 are your advanced English stages. You understand almost everything and can communicate naturally, even about complex ideas. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that sounds cool, but how do I know where I fit? Good question, because everyone's level can be a bit different depending on their skills. You might have a B2 reading level, but only B1 speaking, and that's totally normal. But before we get into testing or self-assessment, let's first explore what each level actually looks like in real life. Section 2. Real examples. What each level sounds like. Let's start from the beginning. A1, the beginner. At A1, you're just getting started. You know a few basic words and sentences, like, "My name is Anna. I am from Brazil. I like pizza. Where is the bathroom?" You can talk about yourself, your family, your hobbies, and your daily life, but you need time to think, and sometimes use gestures or Google Translate to help. You can understand slow, clear speech, but if someone speaks too fast, you might feel lost. At this level, your main goal is confidence, not perfection. It's about learning to survive in simple conversations. Think of it like building the foundation of a house. It's not pretty yet, but it's solid. A2, the elementary level. Now you can do more. You can describe your job, your routine, your town, and maybe even your last vacation. You can understand short, clear messages like signs, menus, or simple emails. You might say things like, I work in a small company. I usually wake up at 7 o'clock. Yesterday, I went to the park with my friends. But you still make grammar mistakes, and that's okay. At A2, the focus is fluency over accuracy. You're learning to connect ideas. You're no longer translating word by word. You're starting to think in English sometimes. A2 learners start feeling real progress. You can order food, talk to strangers, and feel proud of yourself. But soon, you'll want to express more. And that's where B1 begins. B1, the confident communicator. At B1, you've got the basics. You can handle everyday situations in English: work, school, travel, social life. You can talk about plans, dreams, and hopes. You can explain why you like or dislike something. You can tell stories. You might say things like, next year, I want to travel to Canada to study English. I didn't like that movie because the ending was too sad. I think technology helps us in many ways, but it can also make us lazy. At B1, your English starts feeling real. You understand most of what you hear in conversations or movies with simple language. But sometimes you still get stuck, especially when talking about complex topics or when native speakers talk fast. This is also the level where many people feel stuck. You can speak, but you want to sound better. You can understand, but you want to speak faster. This is where we start seeing the fear, the I'll never sound fluent phase. And that's why moving from B1 to B2 is such a big deal. B2, the independent speaker. Now, B2, this is where things get exciting. At this level, you can express yourself clearly, and you can join conversations with native speakers without much help. You can watch movies, read news, and even write essays or emails that sound natural. A B2 learner might say, while I agree that social media has benefits, I also believe it affects our attention span negatively. I've been learning English for 5 years, and I feel more comfortable expressing my thoughts now. You can talk about opinions, debate topics, and use more advanced grammar and vocabulary. You can understand idioms and jokes sometimes. This is often the level required for studying or working in English-speaking countries. So if you're at B2, congratulations, you've reached the independent stage. You don't need translation anymore. But to reach the top, C1 and C2, you'll need to polish your skills and focus on nuance. C1, the advanced user. At C1, you understand most conversations, even fast or complex ones. You can read novels, listen to podcasts, and write essays with natural flow. Your English sounds smooth, professional, and intelligent. You can say things like, although the presentation didn't go as planned, we still managed to deliver our key points effectively. I'm passionate about understanding how cultural backgrounds shape communication styles. You start sounding like someone who lives in English, not just studies it. You can express subtle emotions, humor, irony, and abstract ideas. You can write emails that sound confident and natural. At C1, you no longer fear English. You use it to connect, to work, to learn. But C2? That's the summit. C2, the mastery level. This is near native proficiency. You can understand everything you read or hear, no matter how complex. You can adapt your tone for any situation, casual or formal. You can debate philosophy, make jokes, and even think creatively in English. But here's something important. C2 doesn't mean perfect. It means comfortable, effortless, natural. At this level, you don't worry about grammar rules. They're automatic. You can focus on expressing yourself, not just using English correctly. And even if you're not C2 yet, that's totally fine. Every level has its beauty and its challenge. Section 3. How to move up from A1 to C2. Now that you understand what the levels mean, let's talk about the most important question. How do you actually move up from one level to the next? Because here's the truth. Most learners don't struggle because they're lazy. They struggle because they're using the wrong strategy for their level. So let's go step by step. If you're at A1 or A2, your focus should be input and exposure. Listen, read, and repeat. Don't worry about grammar books yet. Instead, use English for real communication. Even small things. Watch kids' shows. Listen to slow English podcasts. Label things in your home in English. Learn phrases, not just words. Instead of memorizing go, went, gone, practice full phrases like, I want to go home. I went to the store. Have you gone yet? You're training your brain to think in chunks of language. That's how native speakers do it. Also, celebrate every small win. Ordering a coffee in English? That's a win. Understanding a full sentence without translation? Another win. These small moments add up. If you're at B1 or B2, now it's time to push out of your comfort zone. At this stage, you already know enough vocabulary, but you need activation. That means using what you know in conversations, writing, and even thinking. Start journaling in English every day. Talk to yourself. Record your voice. Join language exchange groups or online communities. Also, start focusing on listening to natural English, not just classroom English. Watch YouTubers, interviews, or TV shows, and notice how people really speak. Not, how do you do, but, how's it going? Not, I do not know, but, I don't know. Learn the rhythm, the flow, the feeling of real English. This stage can feel scary because you'll make mistakes, but remember this. Mistakes are not proof of failure. They're proof that you're learning actively. Don't chase perfection. Chase communication. If you're at C1 or C2, now it's all about refinement. You already have the tools. Now you polish them. At this stage, reading becomes your best friend. Read books, articles, or essays about topics you love. Notice how writers structure arguments, use transitions, and vary tone. Also, speak as much as possible with native speakers or advanced learners. Focus on pronunciation, natural phrasing, and idiomatic expressions. At C1 to C2, the biggest challenge is keeping your English alive. If you don't use it, you lose it. So find ways to make English part of your identity. Your work, your hobbies, your friendships. Let's get real for a moment. Learning English isn't just about vocabulary or grammar. It's about identity. It's about standing in front of someone and speaking your truth, even when your accent shakes or your words come out slow. Every level, A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, is not just a test result. It's a reflection of your journey. When you move from A1 to A2, you're not just learning English, you're learning courage. When you move from B1 to B2, you're not just improving your grammar, you're learning confidence. And when you reach C1 or C2, you're not just fluent, you're free. But here's something nobody tells you. You don't have to rush. You don't have to compare yourself with others. Your English is your own story. And if you're watching this video, you're already doing more than most people. You're curious. You're dedicated. You're investing in yourself. That's something to be proud of. So now you know what A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, and C2 really mean. Not just on paper, but in real life. You understand the journey from learning your first few words to mastering deep, fluent communication. You've learned that it's not about being good or bad at English. It's about growing step by step. And remember, no matter your level, you belong in this community. This channel is here for learners at every stage. A1 learners who are just starting out. B1 learners who want to finally feel confident. C1 learners who want to polish their accent or vocabulary. We're all in this together. Because English isn't just a language. It's a bridge. It connects people, cultures, and dreams. So, if this video helped you understand your level a little better, I'd love for you to join our growing community of learners. Hit that like button. It really helps me know that this kind of content helps you. Leave a comment below and tell me, what level do you think you are right now? And what's your next goal? And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more lessons that make English simple, practical, and fun. You've already taken one step today by learning this. Now keep going. One conversation, one word, one dream at a time. You're not just learning English. You're building a voice that the world deserves to hear. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.